Hello guys, how you doing? Hope this is our last stretch. I hope you guys are having a good time. You're enjoying the consecration as much as I am, and hopefully you're enjoying it too.
Absolutely.
And keep persevering. So on this last stretch, what do you got for us, Kim?
So we're looking at days 25 to 33. And this is really the part of the litany where we take everything that we learned about St. Joseph, everything that he's modeled for us about the family, all of the different virtues that he's modeled for us, and we're really thinking about how to apply them. How are we putting those out into the world to be Christ to the world?
The first one is glory of domestic life. I think one of the great gifts of Vatican II is as a church placing more of a responsibility to evangelize on the domestic church. And that is like on the laity. Oftentimes we tend to put that sort of burden on our priests. But their burden is to provide us with the sacraments. The sacraments, they feed us, they prepare us, they dispose us to receive the graces we need to live out our vocation within our marriages, within our single life, within our homes. And so what is the glory of domestic life? I think, Nazareth is like a little utopia. It's what family life was meant to be. And so if we want to experience the glory of domestic life, we really need to look to St. Joseph and to Mary and to Jesus. And we need to spend some time in the
Holy House.
Oh, yeah. I know I have. I know you have. Do you want to speak a little bit into that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was just, it's so fruitful in your prayer to just imagine yourself in Nazareth. Imagine yourself as a small child. And maybe you're like 7 or 8 years old. Imagine Jesus is about that same age. And maybe you're his neighbor, you're his playmate. Maybe you're moving in. And just knock on the door. They're not going to turn you away. I can guarantee you that.
No.
You go in, spend some time with them, see what's going on, and just observe. Just see the love. Just see how it's lived out in the family. It's really beautiful. Be patient with that. It takes a little bit of time to get into it, to trust that it will happen in your prayer. But it really is quite fruitful.
I don't know about you, but one of the things that has done for me is it has really shown me their generosity. That the door is always open, right? Like, and one of the things, and I'm glad, my wife, she's so good, and we both see it the same way, is we do have like an open door policy. People just show up. We actually had a young adult guy just show up on Christmas morning.
Oh, wow.
He just showed up, no phone call, no anything, just like unannounced. And I looked at her, I was like, well, this is what we wanted. And it's beautiful, right? Like, why? And he says, like, he had big news he wanted to share. And,
oh, what fun.
And so it was really beautiful that we got to share that with him.
Right.
That's the glory.
Right.
So we get to experience a lot of little glories right there in our home.
Right.
Even if they're bringing us sorrow, by the time that they leave, that there's still some sort of grace that they're taking away with them.
Right.
Some form of glory.
Right.
And we learn to be generous, as the Holy Family is generous. The Garden of Virgins, one of the places where I've been able to recover a sense of innocence has been spending time in the Holy Home. To see how solicitous Mary and Joseph are. He provided me with what I need, protecting me from the things of this world, guarding my heart so that I can be able to have that purity of heart to see God.
Right.
Right? Like, and it's really beautiful. And then you have the Pillar of Families. St. Joseph has been really big for me and for lives of others when it comes to being a sturdy shelter, a place where you go to receive confidence. There is an epidemic of a lack of confidence and lack of self-esteem in the world today.
Right.
And the more I reflect on that, the more I've been able to connect that to a father's blessing. That there are a lack of paternal and maternal blessings for their children. And how can you grow to be a man when that has never really been modeled for you intentionally? Or grow up to be a woman when that has never really been modeled for you intentionally?
I mean, honestly, I think that's one of the reasons to spend time in the Holy House.
Yeah.
I mean, really, none of us have lived in perfect families.
No.
And so there's always going to be some deficits.
That's right.
And so, but if you're spending time in the Holy House, you're not going to find deficits. I mean, you've got St. Joseph. You've got the Blessed Mother. So, and
you've got perfection.
You really do. I mean, that's the place to learn how to be in a family.
Not perfectionists.
No. That's very different.
Because when we walk in there, they don't care how we are.
Right.
You know, like it's
just as you
their
are.
Their love
come
is
in.
not earned. Their love is not earned. I think that's what I've learned is like, and sometimes growing up is like, that A is not enough. You know,
right?
3 goals weren't enough.
Right.
You know, like these outcomes
Can
weren't enough.
More.
There could always be more. And so there was never that sense of validation or confidence that you are enough.
Right.
And so it becomes really difficult to navigate the world. And I think that's what that pillar of family is that he provides us with that confidence that we didn't receive growing up. And Mom Mary does as well through him. And then when we have that confidence, right? When we have a home that we can go to, like the holy home, even if it isn't our childhood home, because there's still problems there. But if we can live in and from that place of Nazareth, the holy house, then we can comfort the afflicted. We can visit the sick.
Well, because you're filled up.
That's
you're
right.
You're filled, so then you're overflowing, and you can let it flow out to others.
And we can help people die well.
Right.
You know,
so important.
I think that's the gift of St. Joseph. He allows us to be these things for others and to do it in a way that it's life-giving. Not only for them, but it's also for you.
I love the way that you talked about, I think it was in the last video, you talked about how in a litany, it all builds on each other and it's becoming more and more important.
Yes.
Is that fair? Okay, so we're taking all of this and applying it and moving it outward. So we're in service to the world. Like that's where this litany is moving us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's first and foremost, because the first part, right? We're called to be more reflective of what he did and who he is.
Right.
To have an encounter. And once we have that encounter, now where he's able to form us and be virtuous.
All those virtues.
And then graces and virtues are not meant to be kept for yourself, but they're meant for the building of the kingdom.
Right.
So now we're in the building phase.
Right.
So if you're in this phase and that desire for building the kingdom is not there yet, be patient. And I think it's something you need to pray for. Pray for the desire. And also reflect is like, how well have I really intentionally, gone through my 33 days, up until now. But don't despair because, again, this is not the home where you earn. It's a home where, like, if you present yourself as you are, it will be given to you.
Yeah.
And so that's like the Terror of Demons, Protector of the Holy Church. I love that title. Terror of Demons.
That's just so awesome, right?
It's so cool. It's so cool. Tom Bombadil. I don't know if you ever read Lord of the Rings, but like, my gosh. Kathy's over here laughing because it wouldn't be a video if I didn't bring up Lord of the Rings. And I love Tom Bombadil. And when Frodo sings the song with his name in it, guess what happens? He shows up and all those demons are like, they're gone at his name. Because think about it. St. Joseph was the guardian of the Holy Family. His humility allowed him to be hidden under the grace of God. Right. At the very sound of his name. I mean, I love this story is that when the Holy Family walked into Egypt, it's one of those myths. All the idols bowed down.
Oh, wow.
So in a sense, it's like it's a continuation of what happened in the Old Testament in Exodus. It's really quite beautiful. St. Joseph is powerful. And in this day and age of, again, we're talking about like indifference, broken homes, we do accrue some demons within our own lives. And if you're struggling with forgiveness, if you're struggling with some sort of attachment or vice that's still attached to you, run to your father, Saint Joseph, who is a terrier of those demons. And as you again present yourself to him, his very presence will be able to expose some of those things out of your life. Because he's the protector of the Holy Church. Just as he was the head of the Holy Family, it is right that he is the universal patron of the Church. And so, again, I want to be set apart for that kind of man. And since God saw fitting, the Father saw fitting, that all of his possessions be given unto St. Joseph, that's me too.
That's right.
So you belong to him, but God would not do anything without your consent. And so, as you approach these last few days, allow yourself to consent, to make those consents throughout the day of St. Joseph, I give my life and my life's family to you. And I'll let you just increase it in the way that you see fit. Again, as a child, not as an adult. As an adult, we have too many expectations and attachments to allow God to do work in our lives. But if we approach it as a child and just say, like, I can't understand this, help me to understand it, and just give it over and go play with Jesus. I think that's the way to approach it.
You're not wrong.
For real.
There's a lot of just receptivity. That's important. Very important. You have to have the faith and the trust and the confidence, and then you just have to be open to receive. Because, St. Joseph wants to give so much, right? This is day 33. He made him the lord of his household and prince over all his possessions. Well, guess what?
That's me.
Yeah,
That's you.
The possessions, but also he wants to give them out.
He does.
Right?
He does.
So I would suggest that as we come up on the consecration day, that you really read through the consecration prayers, know what you're going to be doing on the day of, so that you can do it meaningfully.
Yeah. Pray through it too.
Definitely pray through it.
What are you really doing?
Yeah.
What are you really giving, right? It's really important. On this point of receptivity, I think it's important to note again, not only with you, with others that I've worked with in the past, I'm sure people that you have worked with too. First thing I always do is just eliminate probably 80% of all the prayers that they're presently doing. Because it's
just
too
to make
much.
room. Yeah.
It's too much. And the more, and it's funny because just working with this guy, he's like, Pedro, give me something to do. I'm like, no, no, that's the problem. And it's so funny. He's been working for a year and a half, and the most growth he's made, it was during this last 2 weeks, where there was just such significant growth. And I'm like, isn't it wonderful that you just had to receive and be attentive? That you didn't have to earn anything? I was like, I think that's how God wants to work in your life and my life.
Definitely.
Definitely. You can't earn.
Right.
You have to be present, and you have to be disposed to receive in His grace. Not easy.
No, it takes a lot of humility.
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh. Because I will say, when I was I want to be holy, I'm like, man, my heart just kind of sinks a little, because I'm like, all right.
Well, you're kind of like, well, good luck with that on your own. You might have some trouble. Gotta ask God for grace.
You do.
Yeah.
But it's there is a violence in His grace, which is really beautiful. Because our tendency is towards sin. And what He's trying to do is take that tendency, take those desires, and shift it towards Him. And that takes some bending, and that's gonna hurt. It's not gonna break you.
No.
But it's gonna hurt.
Well, there's some suffering there, but
is.
Jesus has already taught us that we don't need to be afraid of suffering.
No.
God can make good out of it.
Did you watch the Oscars?
Yes.
I love Indiana Jones and the Goonies. The fact that Short Round Data won the Oscars, his little speech was amazing. And I think that's often how God works. That there is those 20 years where we're kind of blind and we don't know where we're going. But God strategically places people in our lives that kind of reorient us
Mhm.
back to Him
Mhm.
and give us back that focus and the desire to pursue what's in there, what's been there the whole time.
Right.
And so to see, didn't he become like a little kid
Mhm.
up on the stage?
Mhm.
It was like Short Round was right there again.
Mhm.
You know, making us laugh and making us feel all the feels.
Mhm.
And I think like that's what God wants us to do is like put our ways aside,
Mhm.
embrace the mystery of His will, and then allow Him to bring us onto the stage. Because that's meant for everybody in heaven. It's not just the select few,
Right.
but it's meant for everybody.
Mhm.
We just have to allow ourselves to be taken on this journey.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I love that. I hope you guys finish out the rest of your consecration really, really well, like abiding in God's love and grace, knowing that St. Joseph is your father. And we all hope to see you guys May 6th at our dinner and dance and our big kind of St. Joseph feast day here at the church. It's going to be a votive mass. I know that we end on May 1st, St. Joseph the Worker. You can say the prayer that day, but we are going to say it collectively together May 6th before the dinner and a dance.
So we'll have the 5:00 mass, and then after the mass, we're going to have a procession, and then we'll all be moving into the Chaminade Center, and we'll make the consecration there, and then have a great celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm cooking.
Oh, it's going to be delicious.
I can't wait. My guy, St. Joseph.
Pray for us.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.